Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome to our new lesson of Mega Goal 4. Today, inshallah, we are going to take a new lesson on your student book, pages 60 and 61. But before the new lesson of today, I wanted to check the homework I gave you before. As you see, my dear students, our lesson today is on Unit 4. You are what you eat. Student book, pages 61, reading. Okay. In today's lesson, inshallah, we are going to number one, check the homework we took the last lesson, and number two, read the text for specific information. Number three, guess the meaning of the new words. The fourth part of the lesson is discuss some questions related to the reading text. And number five, shows some quick insights that can help you to enhance your English. The last part of the lesson is end the lesson with a quiz on the point. Okay, now my dear students, let's go to the first part of the lesson. It's related to the homework I gave you before. I want you to open on page 59 at first on exercise 7. I told you before that these words are very, very important because we in today's lesson. So I want to show you the answers. He wants us to match the words with their meanings. So, my dear students, I want to show you the answers, and I want you to check your answers on your student book. Okay. Now let's go to the lesson of today. It's on page 60. Page 60. I want you to open on page 60 and page 61, and I want you to participate me to read and to know all the information related to the lesson of today, and we can discuss some questions related to the reading or related to the lesson today. So I want you to pay attention when you read, my dear students. Now, as you see, this is the title of the article, Accidental Food Discoveries. This is the title of this article. I want you to say, what do you know about this title if you think carefully? What can you tell us about this? يعني احنا طبعا لو ركزنا في العنوان اللي احنا هنبدأ طبعا نقرأ الدرس اهوت accidental food discoveries. لو ركزنا في العنوان دوت يعني احنا نقدر نكتشف ايه او نعرف ايه بخصوص الدرس او الموضوع اللي احنا هنقراه يا شباب. ها. I want a student to tell us his opinion about this title. ها. طيب احمد زكي. What can what are what
انا مش سامع حضرتك كويس.
ما هو المشكله انت مش هتسمعني طول ما في عندك وش في الصوت يعني. في البدايه كده.
هو كده تمام.
يعني انت اول ما بتدخل كل حصه بيبقى الصوت غير عادي يعني، بصراحه من عندك انت يعني. طيب. بص يا
طيب.
أحمد، دلوقتي انا بسالك عن العنوان اللي احنا قراناه دوت اللي هو accidental food discovery. If you think carefully, what are we going to take or read about؟ يعني تقدر تقول لنا كده هنقرا عن ايه او ايه الموضوع كده لما اقرا عنوان زي ده؟
About food أو the people who discover the food.
Okay, the people who discovered more kinds of food. Excellent, excellent. طيب, now Ahmed, I want you to start reading from the beginning.
Okay. Uh, can you imagine a world without cool, creamy ice cream cones? Isn't it depressing to imagine life without chewy, delicious chocolate chip cookies? And who could get by without salty, addictive, crispy potato chips? Yet all these traits are fairly recent inventions that may never have come into existence if we weren't for lucky accidents.
Okay, indeed.
Have you ever enjoyed the cool refreshment of popsicle on a hot summer day? If so, you have an 11 years old boy named Frank, a person to thank. One winter day in accidentally left the mixing bucket outside. One winter day in 1905, young person was making soda pop by mixing powdered soda and water. He accidentally left the mixed bucket outside with the mixing stick, and it's overnight. That night, the temperature reached freezing. In the morning, a person discovered that the fruit-flavored liquid had frozen to the stick. Also, he tried to lick his invention. Uh, it wasn't until 18 years later that it occurred to him to turn his invention into a business. A person's children refer to this trait made by their pops as a popsicle. That name stuck and eventually became the official name. Today, popsicles are enjoyed by millions of people around the world.
طيب, Ahmed, after reading this paragraph, paragraph number one, I wanted to tell us who is the person who discovered this kind of food and what is this kind of food.
It's ice cream.
It's ice cream or popsicle. طيب, حاول تحرك المايك عندك كده يا احمد. المايك ساعات بيفضل ساعات بيعمل.
كده تمام.
لسه حاول تحركه كده
تمام كده.
ايوه كده تمام خلاص. اتفق على كده بقى. طيب, I wanted to tell us what is this kind of food and who is the person that discover this kind of food.
A kind of hook is popsicle or ice cream, and the person who they discovered this food is a young person
Excellent. When did he discover it?
in 1905.
Excellent, excellent. طيب, did he discover this kind of food accidentally or he wanted already or he already wanted to discover it?
Yeah, yes, he discovered this food by accident.
Excellent, excellent. ممتاز يا احمد, برافو عليك. يبقى فعلا هو اكتشف الطعام دوت بالصدفة. طيب, I wanted to tell us how did he discover it?
Uh, He left the mixing bucket outside with the mixing stick and left it overnight, and the temperature reaching freezing. And in the morning, he discovered that the fruit liquid has frozen to the stick.
Excellent, excellent يا أحمد، برافو عليك، برافو برافو. Thanks a lot. ممتاز، إجابة صحيحة وإجاباتك ممتازة ورائعة، برافو عليك. Thanks a lot for you أحمد. طيب now I want another student to read and answer some questions related to paragraph number 2 or paragraph number 3. It's about another kind of food. طيب ها الباراجراف اللي بعد كده يا شباب اللي هو بادئ من but perhaps your desert. ها who can start reading? The students want to participate me, please raise your hand and I will give you the opportunity and the mic to give us your opinion or participate us. طيب نشوف كده الشباب اللي موجودين. زياد عادل، زياد.
Yes.
Ziad, I want you to start reading from this part.
Okay. But perhaps your dessert of choice on a hot day is an ice cream cone. If so, you should be glad for the unexpected event that brought two men together at the 194. It's the Louis World's Fair. An ice cream vendor named Charles Mentions was doing such a booming business that he ran out of balls to put the ice cream in the vendor. Next to Mentions was a young Syrian immigrant named Ernest Hamoy was selling a Syrian treat calling Zalabia, a crepes wafer like a pastry. Hamoy come up with a solution to Mench's Quindary. Hamoy rolled some of his warm pastry into a cone so that Mench's could put ice cream inside. In that instant, a favorite international hot weather treat was born.
Okay, Ziad. After finishing this paragraph, I want to discuss some questions with you. The first question is, who invented this kind of food?
Sure, yourself.
Who invented or who discovered this kind of مين اللي اكتشف طبعا
This kind of what?
who discovered this kind of food؟ مين اللي اكتشف النوع الطعام دوت؟
Food. Two men together.
Two men together. انت عاوز تقول ان طب who are they؟ What are their names؟ اسمائهم
said اللي هو تشارلز منشز.
Yes.
هو السر.
تمام، ومين تاني؟ انت قلت ان في اتنين شاركوا بعض في الموضوع ده. طب مين الشخص الثاني؟
I said Ernest Hamoy.
اكسلنت اكسلنت. وهو ده بقى الشخص الفعلي للاكتشاف الايه، النوع ده من الطعام. طب what kind of food did he discover؟ ايه النوع اللي هو اكتشفه او الشيء اللي هو اكتشفه؟
said ice cream cone.
Excellent. If we look here at the first line, he discovered the ice cream cone. Excellent. طيب, did he discover this kind of food accidentally, or he already know how to discover it or how to make it؟ يعني هل اكتشف الموضوع بالصدفة ولا هو بالفعل كان يعرف يعني ان هو يصنع او ينشأ حاجة زي كده؟
Said I think maybe accidentally.
Excellent, excellent. Because Charles Mitchell was doing such booming business that he ran out of bowls to put ice cream in. لما ما كانش لاقي شيء يضع فيه الايس كريم، فطبعا كان في بائع اللي هو الزلابيا اللي هو اسمه ايرنست هامواي. طبعا ده كان شخص سوري يعني يبيع الزلابيا والاشياء اللي زي كده. يعني بدأ يكتشف له الحل ويشوف له الحل لعند ما اكتشف هذا النوع اللي هو الايس كريم كون، اللي من خلاله نقدر نضع فيه الايس كريم. طيب برافو عليك يا زياد. Thanks a lot. Thanks for you. طيب now my dear students, let's go to another paragraph. It's about another kind of food. I want a student to read and discuss some questions with me related to this text. ها الشباب اللي موجودين معانا، انس محمد، ماشي اتفضل يا انس. اتفضل يا انس.
ايه يا استاذ؟
وبعد انس ان شاء الله محمد الشربيني استعد للجزء الاخير، ولكن هناخد الجزء دوت مع انس كده. اتفضل يا انس. I want you to read from here.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. Of course, not everybody is a fan of frozen treats. Some prefer the indulgence of delicious freshly baked goods, like chocolate chips cookies. These people should be grateful for an accidental discovery made by American housewife in 1930. One day, Ruth Wakefield was making chocolate cookies when she realized that she had run out of baker's chocolate. Wakefield decided to substitute broke up pieces of chocolate bar she had on hand. She assumed that the small piece of chocolate would melt and mix into butter. However, taking the cookies out of the oven, Wakefield discovers that the chocolate hasn't melted. Instead, there were little chips of chocolate throughout.
Throughout.
أكمل.
ايوه كمل، انت لسه ما خلصتش النص بتاعك.
The cookies. Much to Wakefield's delight, the chocolate chip proved to be great success for her family and guests. Wakefield sold the recipe to the chocolate company Nestle in exchange for lifetime supply of chocolate chip. It wasn't long before the chocolate chip cookies become a world famous treat.
طيب okay Anas, I wanted to ask you what is this kind of food that this person discovered?
Wakefield discovered the cookies, chocolate chip cookies.
Excellent. Who is the person who discovered this kind of food?
A housewife named Wakefield.
American housewife اللي هي راث ويكفيلد. Excellent. طيب I want you to tell your friends when did she discover this kind of food?
She discovered this treat in 1930.
1930. Okay, excellent. طيب how did she discover it?
She discovered it accidentally because you put a chocolate chip and she decided to melt it in the baker in the oven and it not melt with the butter.
Excellent, excellent. ممتاز، برافو عليك. excellent أنس. ممتاز يا شباب، برافو عليكم، مشاركات رائعة اليوم يعني بصراحة، يعني أحييكم على المشاركات الجميلة. Thanks a lot أنس. Thanks for you. Now محمد أحمد الشربيني، اتفضل يا محمد.
مستر.
Muhammad, I want you to read the last paragraph and discuss some questions after you finish with you, okay?
Okay.
Start.
But if crunchy, salty treats like potato chips are your preference, then you owe a debt of gratitude to a cranky chef and a picky dinner who lived over 150 years ago. On August 24, 1853, George Crumb was working as a chef in a restaurant when he became frustrated with a customer. The customer had repeatedly sent back his French fries, complaining that they were too thick and soggy. Fed up, Crumb decided to teach him a lesson. Crumb sliced the potatoes as thinly as possible and fried them in grease. To Crumb's astonishment, the customer thought the chips were delectable. They became a regular item on the restaurant menu and in time became a staple of the global fast food industry. Clearly, not all accidents are bad. Some have made our lives richer, sweeter, and tastier.
Okay, Muhammad, now I want to tell your friends what is this kind of food.
اللي هو البطاطس اللي هي الشيبس.
اللي هو potato chips. Excellent. طيب who is the person that discovered this kind of food?
George Crumb.
Excellent. When did he or she discover this kind of food?
In 1853.
Excellent. Excellent. طيب I want you to tell your friends how did he discover this kind of food?
There were a customer that sent back his French fries, complaining that they were too thick. So he decided to slice the potatoes as thinly as possible, and then he
يعني احنا نقدر نقول this is the reason that he wanted to discover or that makes or made him discover this kind of food by accident. Not he wanted to discover this kind of food. يعني هو ما كانش بالفعل هو عاوز يخترعه، هو بالصدفه كده لما كان الشخص اللي هو الفرنسي او الشخص اللي هو مين الزبون اللي هو ارسل له كل ما يبعت له البطاطس يرجعها له تاني ويقول له لا ده فيها رطبه وسميكه، فهو قال ان لازم اديله او اعلمه درس، فهو ما كانش يعني متخيل ان الدرس ده هيكون ايه، هيكون في صالحه او هيكون اكتشاف لنوع جديد من الاطعمه اللي هو تشيبس او بوتيتو تشيبس. طيب now I'd like to thank you Muhammad and I'd like to thank you all my dear students for your participation. Thanks a lot. يعني شكرا كلكم كده على مشاركتكم الجميلة الرائعة. Now my dear students I want to play an audio script to listen again to this article to correct your mistakes in reading. And after we finish listening and reading, we can take some questions to answer as a homework. Okay? Okay, are you ready? طبعا احنا هنشغل يعني اللي احنا قرأناه مع بعض دوت وتناقشنا فيه، هنشغله مرة تانية والناس كلها تتابع في الكتاب على أساس إن احنا نصحح أي أخطاء عندنا في القراءة ونعرف الكثير من المعلومات قبل ما نحل بعض الأسئلة أو ناخد بعض الأسئلة اللي بتتعلق بالدرس ده واجب. نسمع كده يا شباب.
Accidental food discoveries. Can you imagine a world without cool, creamy ice cream cones? Isn't it depressing to imagine life without chewy, delicious chocolate chip cookies? And who could get by without salty, addictive, crispy potato chips? Yet all these treats are fairly recent inventions that may never have come into existence if it weren't for lucky accidents. Have you ever enjoyed the cool refreshment of a popsicle on a hot summer day? If so, you have an 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson to thank. One winter day in 1905, young Epperson was making soda pop by mixing powdered soda and water. He accidentally left the mixing bucket outside with the mixing stick in it overnight. That night, the temperature reached freezing. In the morning, Epperson discovered that the fruit-flavored liquid had frozen to the stick. Although he tried and liked his invention, it wasn't until 18 years later that it occurred to him to turn his invention into a business. Epperson's children referred to this treat made by their pop as a popsicle. That name stuck and eventually became the official name. Today, popsicles are enjoyed by millions of people around the world. But perhaps your dessert of choice on a hot day is an ice cream cone. If so, you should be glad for the unexpected event that brought two men together at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. An ice cream vendor named Charles Menches was doing such booming business that he ran out of bowls to put the ice cream in. The vendor next to Menches was a young Syrian immigrant named Ernest Hamwi. Hamwi was selling a Syrian treat called zalabia, a crisp, wafer-like pastry. Hamwi came up with a solution to Mench's quandary. Hamwi rolled some of his warm pastry into a cone so that Menches could put ice cream inside. In that instant, a favorite international hot weather treat was born. Of course, not everyone is a fan of frozen treats. Some prefer the indulgence of delicious freshly baked goods, like chocolate chip cookies. These people should be grateful for an accidental discovery made by an American housewife in 1930. One day, Ruth Wakefield was making chocolate cookies when she realized she had run out of baker's chocolate. Wakefield decided to substitute broken up pieces of a chocolate bar she had on hand. She assumed that the small pieces of chocolate would melt and mix into the batter. However, after taking the cookies out of the oven, Wakefield discovered that the chocolate hadn't melted. Instead, there were little chips of chocolate throughout the cookie. Much to Wakefield's delight, the chocolate chip cookie proved to be a great success with her family and guests. Wakefield sold the recipe to the chocolate company Nestle in exchange for a lifetime supply of chocolate chips. It wasn't long before the chocolate chip cookie became a world-famous treat. But if crunchy, salty treats like potato chips are your preference, then you owe a debt of gratitude to a cranky chef and a picky diner who lived over 150 years ago. On August 24th, 1853, George Crumb was working as a chef in a restaurant when he became frustrated with a customer. The customer had repeatedly sent back his French fries, complaining that they were too thick and soggy. Fed up, Crumb decided to teach him a lesson. Crumb sliced the potatoes as thinly as possible and fried them in grease. To Crumb's astonishment, the customer thought the chips were delectable. They became a regular item on the restaurant's menu and, in time, became a staple of the global fast food industry. Clearly, not all accidents are bad. Some have made our lives richer, sweeter, and tastier.
Okay, my dear students, after reading and discussing some points related to this text, and after listening to it again to correct our mistakes in reading and know all the information related to this article, I want you to answer this exercise as a homework, and I will check it again in the next lesson, inshallah, because I have to go to another part of the lesson of today. Okay, I want you to read this article again and answer these questions related to the tag. Now, my dear students, let's go to another part of the lesson. It's related to some effective sites to enhance learning English. I told you before that they are very, very important sites to learn English or to improve your language. I told you before about some general sites for learning English and sites for speaking skills and for listening skills and some sites for writing skills and reading skills. These are very, very important, and I wanted you to log in, or I want you to serve these links or sites to improve your language. If we take the first link and put it on search, the Google search, we can find some very, very important things. يعني لو خدنا الموقع ده ودخلنا بيه على الجوجل سيرش هنلاقي طبعا اشياء مهمه جدا، وانا قلت لكم عنه قبل كده. ولكن في المره اللي فاتت او المره السابقه كنا اتكلمنا عن مهاره الاستماع وازاي نوصل ليها وازاي نعمل براكتس عليها. طيب احنا دلوقتي بخصوص الريدنج، على اساس ان درسنا اليوم كان عن الريدنج، لو دخلنا على الريدنج سكيل هير وضغطنا كده طبعا هيحولني على مثلا بعض رؤوس او العناوين، بعض عناوين كده اللي هي beginner A1. طبعا بيبدأ معاك من البداية beginner. هنلاقي طبعا فينا بعض الموضوعات، لو اخترنا اي موضوع منهم هنلاقي طبعا عندنا هنا reading text اللي هو نص القراءة اللي احنا هنقرأه، المفروض ان احنا نقرأه كويس. And the questions we can answer. Task 1 and Task 2. لو ضغطنا على Task 1 هنلاقي بعض الأسئلة بعد ما نخلص قراءة بنبدأ نختار الإجابات الصحيحة على أساس إن احنا نحل الأسئلة، وفي النهاية بيظهر لنا طبعا أيضا الدرجة تقييما لأدائنا في الريدنج وكيفية حلنا للريدنج. طبعا نقدر ندخل على المهارة ديت ونجرب ونحل بعض التدريبات الخاصة بالريدنج سكيلز. طيب now my dear students, the last part of the lesson is some questions or a quiz on the class point I prepared for you. They are 3 questions. طبعا دول 3 أسئلة أنا يعني جهزتهم ليكم بعد انتهاء الدرس. هندخل كلنا على الرابط ونبدأ نحل كل سؤال مع بعضنا كده. طبعا الرابط ظاهر قدامنا على الشاشة، الناس اللي هتدخل من الرابط، وأيضا هرفع لكم الرابط أو اللينك الخاص بالكلاس بوينت عشان ندخل من خلاله. يعني الناس اللي هي مش هتقدر تمسح الكود اللي على الشاشة ممكن يدخل بسهولة جدا من على اللينك ده اللي أنا هبعته لكم في الشات دلوقتي حالا. طبعا عاوزين عمليه الدخول تبقى سريعه، يعني مش عاوزين نضيع وقت في عمليه الانضمام للايه، للكلاس بوينت. كده معاكم الرابط في الشات ومعاكم ايضا الباركود على الشاشه اهو. يلا يا شباب بسرعه كده. لسه طبعا في ناس كتير ما دخلتش. في طبعا اللي دخل اللي هو مشعل خالد وعبد الرحمن وليد وسالم حمود واحمد محمد رشيدي وباسل ماجد واحمد زكي وانس. لسه طبعا في ناس كتير ما دخلتش. طب اللي مش قادر يمسح الكود من على الشاشه يدخل من الشات، هيلاقيني رافع له الرابط. طبعا رقم الغرفه موجود قدامنا اهوت، ونكتب اسمنا وندخل بكل سهوله. يعني انا مسهل لكم الموضوع للنهايه للاخر. طيب هنبدا بقى كده نشيل الباركود من على الشاشه عشان نبدا الاختبار، واللي حابب يحصلنا من الرابط اللي موجود في الشات. يلا يا حبايبي. طبعا زي ما انا قلت لكم ده 3 اسئله، كل سؤال هديله 30 ثانيه، وبعد ال 30 ثانيه هقفل السؤال تكون انت اخترت الاجابه الصحيحه. نبدا كده. طيب انا شايف ان يعني معظم الناس جاوبت الاختيار A، وفعلا هو الاجابه الصحيحه. ممتاز يا شباب. excellent excellent. طيب now let's go to question number 2. السؤال الثاني. excellent excellent. طيب نشوف الإجابة الصحيحة. الناس أنا شايف برضو العمود اللي هو B هو اللي كثير، ولكن للأسف الاختيار هيكون C. نشوف كده. vendor ده طبعا معناها بائع، اللي هو someone who sells something، اللي هو بنسميه vendor. طيب now let's go to question number 3. Excellent, excellent, my dear students. The right answer is letter D. Excellent. Thanks a lot, my dear students. We have to end the lesson of today. Thanks a lot for your attendance and for your participation. Thanks and goodbye.